driving the Bronco for the first time. Don't kill me. So Emily's dad gave her a 1968 Bronco Half Cab. He did a great job of restoring it. It ran fine. I mean, it was a perfectly good Bronco. There were no seatbelts in it, so I got tasked with putting seatbelts in it, and then the brake lights were not working when we got it from him, so we needed to get that fixed. So I looked around Nashville, and I finally found someone who did not have a long wait and who could get me in to get that fixed. That set off a chain of events that when I look back upon it, they hurt my feelings. So let's go see what happened. About to take the biggest journey yet. Got to take the Bronco to get the punch list worked out. It's a pretty good sized list. Most importantly, brake lights. So I'm about to drive across Nashville on Friday afternoon with no brake lights. Miles an hour. That's about as fast as I want to go. So Emily followed me. All I can say is drives like a dream. Smooth, quiet like a Lexus. Smooth. I mean, the suspension is very smooth. When you hit bumps, you definitely do not feel like you're going to fly off the interstate. Quiet in the air, works great. It's a great car you got. It's incredible. And it's about to cost us about $5,000. Fuel leaks. Emily had to follow me with a fire extinguisher because there was a fuel leak at the gas station. We filled it up and it started running all over the ground. So add that to the list. Are we having fun? We're having fun. So I'm driving to Music City 4x4. The Bronco has a very large list. So before I bite this list off, I want to meet the guy who's going to work on it. He's going to show me his Bronco. And then I'm probably going to give him the go-ahead to do it all. Might as well. I guess it's just money. You can always make more money. That envelope has a lot of money in it. I worked for Hogdaddy at Hog Rock, made some money, and then I took all the money and I paid for the Bronco repairs that Hogdaddy gave us the Bronco. I feel like this is not going in a positive direction. Going to pick up the Bronco today. My dad's coming over. He's going to drop me off and chauffeur me around. So we're going on a field trip. Very exciting. There's my chauffeur. He's here. We're heading out. I got a free hat. It wasn't free. It was well worth it. These guys did a great job. I can't wait to see it. He's going to pull it around. So we have a minor issue. We've done the repair work on the Bronco, got everything kind of up to speed. We replaced the brake system. So we put disc brakes on the Bronco and replaced pretty much the whole master cylinder system. And it runs off a vacuum hose off the carburetor, but the problem is it's pulling so much vacuum that when it gets down to idle speed, if you press the pedal hard, it kills the motor, which is not ideal to have to restart the motor. I mean, you just restart the motor and move on. So I've got it scheduled to go back, and we're going to put a pump that runs off the belt that'll feed that instead of running it off the vacuum. When I got it out to drive it the other day, though, I was having trouble. It was not even idling. Like it would die on idle, and I don't know if it's related to that. I think it is, but I do at least have to have it where I can drive it to the shop. Otherwise, I've got to get it towed there. So that's what I'm going to work on today. Now, I don't know what I'm doing. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is called a carburetor. I have no clue what I'm doing. This is what I pay people to do. When you're stupid, you pay people to do stuff like this. But anyway, I'm going to try to figure it out. I'm going to make sure that the choke is actually working properly, and then I'm just going to figure out if I can get it hobbled over there for them to work on, the guys that actually know what they're doing. And then hopefully we'll be in good shape. Everything will be wrapped up.
So it was unfortunate timing for Music City 4x4. They literally put a meme up when you install that one mod that forces you to upgrade everything else. Things are now set in motion that cannot be undone. I think they posted that on their Instagram account right as the brake issue popped up, and I'd realized I've made a major mistake. I've rewired this whole thing. I've said I've done all this stuff, and now it's going to make me do more stuff. And it did.
So it seems to be working. The choke's working. Everything's linked up correctly. I've let it run for a little while. I'm going to take it back out and see how it drives. Seems to be okay. Maybe it was just a weird day. I don't know. It's doing perfect today. It was not doing perfect the other day. Hence, carburetors stink. Okay, that's just weird. I mean, I was ready to sell the thing because I was like, I don't know how to operate it. So the other day when I was driving it home from all the repairs, we had the vacuum line issue with the brakes. No big deal. Got a solution, just need to get it done. But then I was going to move it from one side of our patio to the other so that I could chain it up, and I decided I would just drive it to the gym and back, and it died. Before I got down to the end of our street, it died 4 times, and it would not idle. And I don't know what in the world was happening. Just could not get it to run unless you were revving the motor. So I thought it was related, but it didn't make sense. So that's what I was trying to figure out today. But today it started normally and ran perfectly. I mean, I just rode all over Bellevue for 20 minutes and not an issue. Didn't stall out a single time. Didn't have the brake issue. The brake issue really only hits when you're really getting on the brakes hard from going fast. But I didn't have the issue today. So I don't know. Old cars, maybe it just didn't want to run the other day. Sometimes I don't want to do stuff too.
She started right up. 7 o'clock, 40 degrees, and she still started pretty well. So warmed up, I'm headed to the shop. The old Bronco in rush hour traffic. We're on our way to Carl's. He's gonna fix our fuel system leak and switch out our carburetor to a fuel injection system. Fix a squeaky belt and a laundry list of other little things. Had to drive about an hour. She did good. So we're dropped off.
Does he have the keys?
This is Carl. Hey Carl. This is Carl's stuff. That's Carl's Bronco.
I think so.
His Bronco's nicer than my Bronco. He's got a little more money tied up in it.
So I'm headed up to Gallatin to meet Carl. The Bronco is done. So Carl's been working on mainly swapping a fuel injection system in, changing out the gas tank because I had a gas leak. And it's really, he had another laundry list of things to work on, but that was the big one. And then that pretty much gets our restoration complete, other than swapping the engine and swapping the transmission or the transfer case. But I'm just going to wait for those to break, and I'm just going to drive it. Everything else has been, you know, Hogdaddy did all the paint and everything and got it looking nice, and it was totally drivable. Everything Emily and I have done has been all about safety and reliability, because we're planning to own the thing for a while. But today I'm going up to Gallatin to meet Carl and to pick it up and drive it home. We're going to dyno to tune the fuel injection system a little better. And then it's supposed to be ready to go home. And it's mid-March. You know, we got the Bronco in May, and it has pretty much been in the shop since we got it in May. So almost a full year it's been in restoration mode, and hopefully we're done. So we're on the dyno. We're going to see some high horsepower put out on this thing.
So we've got the handheld.
We might even break into triple-digit horsepower reading today. Big horsepower. We had an oil leak on the dyno the other day, so Carl took it back and fixed that and made some final adjustments, and it's ready to go. So I'm going to go test drive it today, pay my bill, and then drive it home. I hope that all goes as planned. Carl's got his big beast sitting beside mine. His is a little beefier than mine is. It's a nice looking Bronco. That's not bad. I like the little gun in the back seat. And then this is his son's Jeep recovery unit. Very funny. Emily and I are out here. We're working on the Bronco. We're going to get this ignition, the throttle body issue worked out. It's the final thread to our Bronco restoration. So taking it back out to Carl, he's going to do some work on it. But I'm trying to see what it's actually doing, because it works when you don't hit the throttle. So Emily's going to film.
Yes.
So I picked the Bronco up yesterday, and it's still not right. The fuel injection system, the throttle linkage is not right. It literally lives up to the name Bronco. It bucks like a Bronco in first gear. So, you know, when you press the throttle down, it kind of it clicks basically, and when it clicks through, then it revs the motor real high, and if you're in first gear, it's almost undrivable. So you have to rev the motor real high and then let off on the clutch, and so it's not right. So I told Carl, and he researched it some more, and he says he figured out how to fix the issue. So I'm driving it back out today and dropping it off to get that fixed. And I'll try to film what it's doing. You can kind of see it like gets hung and then it goes too far, so we'll drive it a little bit. It's a handful in first gear. If you catch it just right, but like there, I let off the gas and then I'm in first gear and I'm gonna accelerate. That's where it's brutal. It just lunges. But like going around the roundabout at the end of our neighborhood, brutal. So hopefully no cars will come and I'll be able to do that in second gear. And of course there's a car coming. So if you rev the motor real high, whoa. If you keep the RPMs up and just gun it, get her done. But that's not fun to drive, so we'll get it fixed. Great, they're fixing the road, which is good, but not good for me today. So it's April Fool's Day. I hope this isn't an April Fool's joke. Carl called last night, says he's got the final problem on the Bronco fixed and it's ready to pick up. And this should be our last pickup, so the restoration will be done. So hopefully I get up there today and everything's good and I'm driving it home. Very exciting. When you own an old vehicle, you better be patient. So I was driving home, the truck ran great. So Carl has it totally fixed up. It was ready to go. I was driving it home, and every once in a while it would die at a stoplight or something. And I went to restart it. I got about
40 minutes away from his shop, almost halfway back home. And I went to start it again and it didn't start. Probably a dead battery. And then when I turn the key on, that's what it's doing. So Carl's gonna make an emergency run to meet me to diagnose the problem. He cannot get rid of me. And then this is when I crank it. April Fools! Back on the road, battery changed. So far, so good. One more trip. Last one. Final adjustment on the carb, on the fuel injection system. All right, test drove. Works great. It's finally dialed in. Filled it up. It's got us a full tank of gas. Time to go drive our Bronco.